basketball right now, the discourse is at an all-time shit show. We done with the 90s? That's what people are saying right now, man. That's what I'm going to ask you.
I think it kind of shows the youth of the younger generation in a sense.
The youth.
The youth.
The youth. Well, you sound like an old head
The
saying
youth.
that.
And here's why.
Yeah,
I feel like they're going to do the same thing to LeBron one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like they're going to do the same thing to LeBron one day. I think that you got to understand that eras are a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Eras are a thing. And if we're talking about, like, do I think the 2016 Warriors beat the 96 Bulls? Like, I'm taking the KD Warriors. I think that's 2018 Warriors.
Yeah.
Every day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the players now are more talented than back then.
Yes.
But you have to be able to play in the current way.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, back then it wasn't jump shots. Nowadays it's jump shots. Back then it was bully ball and stuff like that. And it was more grit and grind. And it was a slower pace. It wasn't always up and down the court. And I think this era is, like, more athletic and stuff like that.
More pace and space. Way more spacing, too.
Mm-hmm.
Much more spacing.
But you just have to take errors into account. Even though you have to respect errors, like, I think you can argue that some errors are more talented than other errors.
Yes.
But you still have to put respect on each error.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think right now in the current modern NBA, this is clearly the most talented era of basketball we have ever seen throughout the NBA's history.
Yeah.
But that's not gonna, hinder my eyesight to just seeing the greatness that the past players that have played in the league, just them doing their time back in the 90s, 80s, even in the very old times in the Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain heydays.
Yeah.
Like, these basketball players set the building blocks for today's players like a Luka, like, well, not really as current, but like Curry, LeBron, KD, Jokic, Giannis, Embiid, all those guys to thrive today.
Yeah.
Like, you have to respect the eras because we can't have today's game without the OGs that provided the materials, that provided the blueprint.
It's kind of weird how it only happens in the NBA, though.
Yeah. I've noticed that too, because I think that's an issue with how the NBA markets itself as a league compared to the NFL, because with the NFL, they're so serious about telling the history of the game and teaching his fans the past eras. Because with NFL fans, you don't see people shitting on Dan Marino or the Elways of the world, like Mean Joe Greens. You don't see NFL fans shitting on the OGs. The NBA is completely different.
Yeah. No, but you say NFL. I think even soccer too. Like, everybody still says Pele and Maradona are, like, some of the top players to ever play. Nobody doubts Steven Gerrard or Frank Lampard or any of those players. Like, no matter the sport, like, it seems like other than the NBA and basketball, all those sports respect the OGs. They respect the eras that helped develop it to the point where the game is.
Yeah, absolutely. And one example I can point at was, when the NBA did their 75th anniversary a couple years back, compared to the NFL when they did their 100th anniversary, that whole season, it was so bare bones. What did the NBA do? They had a few graphics showing, like, the graphics back in the older times, and they obviously had the 75 best players presented at the All-Star game during halftime. But you compare that with the NFL and what they did, it's completely different. It's a 9-day difference.
Yeah.
NFL had, like, round tables. They had all-time teams for every single position, all decade teams. They had countdowns for the top plays in NFL history, the top players, the top personalities, all of that stuff.
Yeah. And, like, every game, I feel like every game there's at least one, like, segment from commercial to the game, like, where they show you, like, a history between the two teams. All the time. Whether it's I'm blanking, a senior moment. a former playoff matchup. Jesus.
Yeah, like playoff games, like moments that happen in said games,
Yes.
like the immaculate reception.
Yes.
Bro, you see that shit every single time for like the NFL, them producing their own commercials.
Yeah.
They have that play every single year, every single season.
Yeah.
The immaculate reception, John Elway's helicopter run, like stuff like
time.
that.
All the time.
They like put into your mind every single season that yes, this was important, and don't you ever forget about that.